Okay, so I just got my embossing kit from customcrops.com and I'm really excited to try it. So it just came in the mail this morning. So I'm going to open it up. Okay. So you get this pink embossing housing, which is really cute. And it looks just like your blade. And then you get a rubber mat that goes on your Cricut mat. So I'm going to put mine on there right now. I'm going to stick it down. And then you get a list of instructions too. So it says to add your rubber mat to the Cricut mat, which I have. And it said if it doesn't stick, because it's kind of got a film on it, if it doesn't stick very well, they say just to use some double-sided adhesive. And you can see that it's really thin, so you don't need that much for resistance to do embossing, which is pretty cool. So next we need to adhere our piece of cardstock or material we're going to emboss to our mat. So I'm just using some Scotch tape on both sides of my cardstock, which I had prepared already. I'm going to go this way. Next, you're going to want to put your embossing housing into your machine. So I'm just going to remove my blade. That right there. And tighten it up. Alright. And it says you want to put your pressure to max. And I have I'm putting my speed all the way up too. So I have my speed and my pressure at max. So I'm loading my mat. And I'm just going to move my embossing tool over my cardstock and out of the way of my tape so it doesn't go over my tape. And then next it says you can set your, or it says set your pressure to max, which you did. It says you can use your multi-cut if needed. So I have my multi-cut set at 3 for my default settings, so I'm just going to do that just to make sure that it does a good emboss on my material. And then it says emboss whatever you would normally cut with your Cricut and have fun. So I'm going to use the Reminiscence Accents Creative Memories cartridge because I love this one. And I'm just going to do a border for a card. Okay, so I'm going to do this border right here, but I think I'm going to do it twice. But I'm going to use my fit to length because I want it to be 5.5. So I'm going to go 5.5, so it's the length of my card. And then I'm going to push my border creative feature, and I'm going to look for the correct image. And I'm going to push that twice because I want to have, I think I want to have 2 of them. So there will be 6, like double this. So I'm going to go ahead and push cut, and then I'll come back when it's done. So it's almost done, so I'm just going to show you what I have going on for my card. So I have some Stampin' Up! Cardstock for my card, and I just took an 8.5 by 11 sheet, cut it in half, so it's 5.5 by 8.5, and then I folded it in half and used my bone tool to score it, or yeah, fold it in half so it's a nice fold. And then I put some 3.5 by 5.5 designer paper, and this is by K & Company. So now that it's done, I'm going to unload, and I'll just peel it off my mat, which is really easy to do. And I'm just going to take off. See, and the Scotch tape does rip sometimes, like this one didn't, but the first one did. So I did it a little bit bigger than needed. I'm going to grab my paper cutter here. And I'm using the newer Creative Memories paper cutter. Okay, so this is the side that the embossing tool went through. And I'm just going to flip it around. Okay, so that is the positive side, if you can see it. So it does work not too bad. I kind of like this side better just because you can see it better. So I'm just going to add my double-sided tape. And to make this pop out more, you probably could just use some chalk and chalk around it, or some ink, and just lightly kind of distress it. So that's kind of like a little added touch that I've done, and then I can decorate my card accordingly after. So yeah, that's how you use the embossing tip from Custom Crops.